Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 9 of our show, The Podcast of Us. This is a weekly podcast covering all things The Last of Us, covering the TV show, and revisiting the 2 games of the same name. However, this is the final episode that we're going to be reviewing, so the next podcast after this may be in a couple of weeks' time, but we'll discuss that momentarily. While you're here, just to let you know that all previous episodes are all available and linked down below on the Mateus Players YouTube channel. If you don't know who we are yet, my name's Matt from Mateus Players, and I'm joined here as always with Drew from Drewdaism.
Hello.
Drew. Hello. And Nathan. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, mate.
I'd like to say a big hello to everyone joining us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and everyone watching on the recorded but edited after video on YouTube. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate you guys being here for the entire journey thus far of The Last of Us. This right here is your spoiler warning as we delve into episode 9 of The Last of Us, titled Look for the Light. This is the final episode of season 1 with a runtime of 42 minutes. So once again, this is your spoiler warning. Welcome back. Sit back, relax, and let's hear some thoughts on episode 9. Go ahead, Drew.
First of all, wasn't the finale the shortest episode in the entire series?
I believe so, yes.
What's with that?
Yeah. Unheard of. Not heard of much.
Absolutely insane. Yeah, I don't know why you started with me, mate, to be honest. I haven't got much to say. I liked it. It was good. Definitely big elements, but I don't know. I felt like parts were just like rushed. But at the same time, I know I'm jumping. These are my overall thoughts.
Absolutely.
I love like the hospital scene. I have questions. I need to find out my own lore facts. We'll get to that at the end. And it's probably the only flashback that I won't mind seeing. I didn't mind the flashback. And I'll get into that.
We finally got him.
Oh my god, we got a flashback. We finally got him.
We finally got him. He's happy with a flashback.
Yeah, but overall, it was good. It just felt, it was really short. But at the same time, I don't know how they could have filled it up anymore, because that was exactly what happened in the game. So I'm not mad, but I'm a bit there about it.
Nathan, how did you feel about the episode?
Yeah, I think it was the best they could have done with the time they had left. I
Oh, that's such a bloody good way of putting it, isn't it?
because it's one of those things where it's like, again, when you look at it, the wider pacing issues in the series, then absolutely there are those issues where we talked about that kind of with previous episodes. But I think this one really stuck to the scripts. There's a lot of small details that they included, and the original story really came through here. They had a great ending in the game. No reason to change it. The content was already there. Just put it on screen, and they did. And I think they needed to do that, especially when they, early on in the series, they've experimented with, diverging from the story and focusing on other characters. The finale was really the opportunity for them to just bring it back to its base, and they did that. Not whether it makes me forgive the rest of the series for whether perhaps creatively focused on certain areas. I don't know, but I think for this episode, I think they did a fantastic job.
They did as good as they could with the time they had left. Such a politician's
I think that's an
response
incredibly good. How do I even follow that with what I think it is?
Politician's response.
I agree with. Here's the politician's answer. I agree with both parties. I think Drew raised a very good point that at parts it felt very rushed, but then Nathan raised some good points that they've stuck very closely to the original script at this point in the game, and it just overall felt like a very episode to me, and I can't believe I'm saying that about a franchise I'm so fond of, and this is the final episode of season 1. Like, this should be like the episode that grips you, and maybe it did grip some people who haven't played the games, but for me, it's horrible to say, but I'm in no rush to come back to this.
Yeah,
like the build, like the finale is partly reliant on the build up to it, right? So in the game, you do get a longer run up to it by far. And I think are you kind of feeling that because the show, certain things have been a bit rushed, or maybe we've been looking like left or
I
looking right.
think the ending played on me so much more in the games because I'd seen these two characters build a relationship. But for this, I just didn't get that same effect. Not because I knew how the ending was going to be, but because I don't believe that this Joel and this Ellie have the relationship that they should have at this point. I feel like they've swapped character roles. They've done this. They've done that. Lots has happened, but I feel like so much has happened with these characters off screen that the ending just doesn't pay off.
I think that's where my I feel that it's been rushed in this episode. So like that they didn't have that tight bond 3 episodes ago. Joel gets stabbed, Ellie heals him, and then Ellie almost gets raped, and then all of a sudden it's like, I love puns now.
I love puns and
you
talking about my
saved me.
dead daughter. You'll get on with my dead daughter.
I'm an open book.
Yeah, I was visibly shocked when Joel mentioned Sarah. I was like, oh, okay, we're at this point in our relationship now. Because like, yeah, I thought that before. It was like, don't even mention her name. And they even bring that up a couple of times in the game where Ellie like pushes the boundaries a little bit, and it's like, no more. We stop talking about that right now. But this one is just like, yeah, Sarah would have fucking loved you. Yeah, you two had been, yeah.
And he's all just like, let's just go raise some pigs and stuff, get a pig farm, and mate, I'll get a guitar. I love playing guitar. If you heard me sing, I'll teach you how to play guitar. I just feel that this whole they were slowly getting it, but it just all of a sudden just went boom into some relationship which we had, I think, halfway through the game.
Yep.
Like you still were warming to each other for quite a long time, and then obviously when she did save him, that was a big turning point. He did put a lot of try. I get that, but it just felt like it was like nothing, something, bang, we're BFFs making daisy chain bracelets.
Oh, you saw that as well? Yeah.
They did, like, this episode did, like, their relationship and just their interactions generally just felt markedly different from any other episode. It feels like we have gone a bit from night to day with their relationship without, as Drew said, without the middle bit, because this whole episode, Ellie didn't have that. Obviously, I appreciate she was like traumatized.
She went through something quite traumatic, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, she's clearly had a couple of months to get over it because we're not in snow anymore.
I don't know if you get over it in a couple of months, Drew. I'm not.
I think it's taking a bit longer.
Well, I bloody did.
Yeah, a long weekend and it's over. But no, like it's just we like this. They were both, their relationship and like their interactions, they were both really likable and it seemed very genuine and authentic. But this, like, I know it's supposed to be building up to it, and this is the product of their journey, but it seems very sudden. And I think this is because we're jumping to how the game did it for the finale. So we've had how the show's done it and how the show's paced it, and we've suddenly jumped to how the game does it. But you can't have that seamless transition from how the show does it to how the game does it because they've gone in two slightly different directions. So I think I do understand it. It seems a bit jarring with how their relationship seems really good now, and it's good to watch, and it feels good and genuine, but definitely feels like a contrast to previous episodes in a way that it kind of hides the in-betweens, I feel.
Trash, mate.
Well put, Nathan. Very well put. Very well put.
You got any more thoughts on that, or should we do Matt, or should we do the?
We can go. Shall we go in for the recap?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good if you are.
Hey guys, it's a flashback. Flashbacks are cool now, right? So we find.
I've always been a huge fan of flashbacks.
Absolutely,
you heard it.
Absolutely, quote him on that. So we finally kind of get the idea of how Ellie was born and what Ellie's whole deal is with the original voice actor, whose name escapes me.
Ashley James.
That's the one. Playing
Ashley Johnson.
That's the one. Damn it, Drew. Playing the role of Ellie's mum, Anna, and she's bit while in the process of giving birth to Ellie.
That looks so stressful. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Now, I'll never know the pain of giving birth to a child, but I would
I
you...
will, and I'll comment on this, Matt. Don't worry about it. It's
Thanks, Drew.
absolutely fine. I'll
Thank you,
take
Drew.
it from here. What do you want to know?
But I can't believe it. You should just like I'm fighting off this infected. First of all, fantastic seeing infected in this episode. Remember what the show's all about? The infected and the.
Oh, I thought that was I just thought that was a method.
Oh, I thought it was a raider as well at first. Yeah, but
Yeah,
you know what
I
gave
just
it
thought it was a
away? It was no, it wasn't clicking. Nope, it was just the regular infected. No, not even. Not even a clicker. But yeah, she's bit while giving birth, and kind of is shocked that as she's fighting off this infected, and she's kind of given birth to Ellie, and is now again. I've never seen the business end of a woman giving birth, apart from in secondary school where I've tried to push that image out of my head very fast at a video that we once watched. That was plastered around the playground, but very clean birth. Well done.
Yeah, there should be a lot more blood.
Yep.
There should have been a lot more blood.
And then I think there's like an after bit and goopy hands on the doorknob.
Yeah.
That really put me off. Don't know why.
And you sure as shit wouldn't kiss it after it's just come out straight away.
Nah.
Yeah, you might spit on it first and wipe it over a little bit, and then it might be good.
My
enough,
only thought
but...
of this bit was like, oh, she's giving birth and she's using the knife to cut the umbilical cord. Didn't she just kill that infected with that knife? Didn't she? Didn't she? And then like, oh, just fold that in half. That will stop any infection. It's like, yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. No, I'm no
Just tie it
doctor. Yeah, absolutely. I'm no doctor, but
couple more knots. That's a good point. I like it.
Yeah.
Nathan, care to ruin it?
No, no, I was just wondering, was that like a animatronic baby?
No, it looked very
It
realistic.
It did look very realistic.
Oh
but-
yeah, but like I think I've seen like behind the scenes stuff with previous shows where they've got really realistic babies. I don't think that was a real baby. I think that was like they do make like animatronic prosthetic babies.
Is this why we didn't get
and
any
they look
clickers?
super realistic.
It was all the budget spent on this animatronic baby.
I reckon it's a real baby. I reckon they just literally gone, oh, you just given birth. That was rough for you. Do you want $1,000? Can we just borrow your baby for a little bit?
For like a day.
Yeah. And we'll have a good time. And I think that's fine. My biggest thing was she's clearly wearing no panties.
You brought this up, yes. Go ahead, Drew. Yes, she is. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, in all this whole time she's running around and like she's being attacked by an infected. At not one point has she gone, right, here we go. Because I don't think she planned on giving birth straight away. She didn't take her pants off. She literally fought the infected and had the equivalent of a big sneeze, looked down,
There's
and there was
Ellie.
a baby there.
Yeah, the pants should have caught
Now,
the
if there
baby.
was pants, you know, guys, when you poo yourself in your boxers, it doesn't just like it gets cradled in there. So that would be what would happen with a baby.
Regular occurrence. I'm sorry. Yep.
You guys know this. It's our equivalent, isn't it? You know, when you come out and go, oh, let's go birthing there, lads. Lads.
Boys.
It's the closest we've got.
And we've got a knife, so I can cut this umbilical cord I've
Yeah.
just given birth to.
The story is really captivating you at this point.
Yeah, but this is why we take our pants down when we go for a poo. And she didn't do that. And now my girlfriend turned around and went, oh, she might have had a G-string on. I don't think she did. Because I didn't see her putting it to one side. Did you?
No, I
You know,
didn't.
she needed both hands to fight off that infected. So, you know, Ellie's
Maybe.
mum, I can see how she got pregnant in in this afterworld. Do you know what I mean? Because running around with no panties. Hey. You know. Also, side note,
I
how
think you
stupid
should.
Go on.
I think you should tweet Neil Druckmann and see if he's got an explanation for why that discrepancy was there. I'd like to see what he has to say.
Okay, I will. I'll tweet Neil Druckmann.
No, no.
Oh,
sorry.
God.
I will. No, I
And,
absolutely will.
and he's going to tag
Please
the
don't.
podcast in there as well. I
No,
bet.
no,
Oh,
please.
no.
Have
Drew,
we
no,
got-
please.
I don't want to be involved in this line of inquiry.
Can we get a Twitter? Can we get a Twitter page made for this? And I'll tweet for. I'll do it. I'll make it. I'll make it for us.
Hi, Neil. Long
don't
time
worry.
fan. Where's the
I'm-
panties?
I would.
I'm a third
I
of
would-
this business. I can make the executive decision to run the Twitter account for the team. Side note: how stupid you got to be to get pregnant in an apocalypse?
Well, maybe like all the condoms are out of stock or something, or like gone out of date.
But why do you have to have sex?
Because people were bored and they want to like,
But there's loads of other stuff you can do.
But maybe they've done everything.
Yeah, but
Like,
they completed
They can bleed it,
post-apocalypse
yeah.
bingo card.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking. Well, the point is, like, if you want to survive after the apocalypse, then it's a logical step that you'd have kids, right? Because that's
I
Nah.
get repopulating. You have to repopulate the world, but realistically, you do it when you're in like a tight-knit environment where it's safe. A baby in an apocalyptic world is the biggest hindrance. Marlena should have popped Ellie in the face and then killed Ellie straight away. There's no way. It's like, oh, here you go. Can you get this like cross country? This screaming baby you can't control, and run it past all this infection? No.
everything.
Too much been asked.
Everything carries more risk now, because I mean, you could say that you shouldn't be, walking down the street or going into a house because you might trip over, and there's no antibacterial or like infection preventing stuff. So you could trip like they did in the 1800s, where someone just tripped on an orange peel,
But I can control my
got a
screen.
fracture and then just died because there was no medical services. That applies now.
Yeah, but
So
I'm a
everything
grown
carries a
up.
risk.
I'm a grown up and I can control my screams. I know if I fall over and I hurt myself, and if I scream really loudly, I'm going to draw attention to myself. If I throw a baby against the wall and tell it to shut up, it's not going to understand, is it? It's just going to scream. And I can be like, look, I know you've hurt your head, I've thrown you against the wall, but these infected over it, they don't care. You need to shut the fuck up. They're not going to understand.
Are there social services in the post-apocalyptic world?
God, I
Because
hope
if
so.
they were,
God,
they
I
would
hope
take
so.
a baby off you, stat mate. Yeah,
Just
but
saying, it's
people-
a foolish thing to do.
I'm
It's
just
a foolish thing to do.
yeah, but it's a risk you have to take, because if you
Is
don't,
it?
then the alternative is no hope, no nothing. Just shoot everyone there. What's the
We'll
point?
just have a select few that get pregnant.
Well, maybe she was one of them. Maybe she was one of your chosen haram, Drew.
Nah, she won't. My chosen one's about panties.
Right, so Marlene turns up.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Marlene turns up.
Sees that Anna has given birth to Ellie, and Anna's one. I'm getting a bit of echo from Drew there. And Anna's one request is that Marlene takes Ellie, takes her cross country, and looks after this baby. She reveals that she's been bit, and that she got bit after she had given birth to Ellie, which was a lie. A lie. So
Was a lie.
this poor baby is handed over to this other gentleman. Marlene's like, I'm not going to shoot you. I'm not going to do it. And then she like has an immediate change of heart.
That was
This poor baby, this dude had one job: cover the ears of this newly born baby as I kill their mother. Okay, just one job, and doesn't even do that. His poor kid is deaf now. I was like, oh no, this kid will not stand a chance. Doesn't realise how loud it's screaming now because he's just had a pistol shot next to it. Oh, poor kid.
every time Ashley Johnson spoke as well, I was hearing like bits of
Ellie.
and bits of Ellie, like when she like you proper heard Ellie's voice in her voice. It was really cool. But yeah, that was cold from Marlene. I mean,
I loved it.
I mean, no parting words, no,
Literally
don't worry,
just charged into this room.
Just, yeah, pop. Anyway,
I just want you guys to know that I wouldn't think twice about killing you in that situation.
thanks, mate.
Thanks,
I
Drew.
wouldn't,
I think
like,
you'd do it for a lot less. Like,
I don't even think you'd be able to finish the sentence.
wait, no, Drew, the kill bang.
I don't disagree with you, but I think you would do what Marlene did, but miss the head and like get me in like
like
like the neck,
femoral artery
like,
in the leg,
yeah.
and slowly bleed out.
Yeah.
Like,
in the neck, but in a non-lethal place. I'm like, oh, this is worse. This is so much worse. And then you're walking away, and I'm like, finish it.
He's fine. That's the sound they all make.
You've done it, Getty fucker.
It'll be fine. I think it was great. Marlena just absolutely Marlena, whatever.
Marlene.
Who cares? She's dead now. So yeah, didn't fuck about. I just think it's a big ask. Save a baby. So
That's a big responsibility.
Oh.
Oh, godmother.
Such an egg.
Oh, such an egg.
screaming baby, great.
So
Yeah, like, that was I agree with Drew. The flashback lover over here. I think that was a good flashback to throw in there.
I've got something to talk about flashbacks, and that will come up when we come to it.
Can I just say, the only reason why I liked the flashback was one, it was simple, it was short, and we learnt something.
Yep.
We learnt that's how Ellie got infected,
Yep.
and also that's a potential. Also, why don't they just get loads of women bit just as they're giving birth, and then they'll have a bunch of cured babies?
Because Marlene didn't think that happened like it did. To Marlene's knowledge, it was after she'd been born.
Yeah, but like when she found Ellie in the thing in the first episode, and she was counting, and she was like, "Well, you're clearly cured." She was right. sick, I'd be like, right, Fireflies, any one of you that gets pregnant because you've been foolish and you got yourself up the duff, your punishment is as you give birth, you're going to get bitten.
Oh my
You're gonna
gosh.
get got.
And then who's to say that works every time and that wasn't something special
Oh,
about
that's
like
how
that?
science works, Nathan. Trial and error.
Yep. No.
Jesus, I'm not a fucking scientist, mate. I'm doing the best I can. You know, in the post-apocalyptic world.
This is what
Trying
the
to
women
save-
hear in the other room as you're just explaining your method. Look, I'm not a doctor, all right? I'm not a doctor. I'm just trying stuff in a post-apocalyptic world. I'll be right with you, ladies. Don't worry about it. I'm not a fucking doctor. I'm not a specialist. I'm not. Okay? Let's just try it. What else you got to do? They got to be punished. Okay, next, please. Next.
They'll have to learn. That's the only way they'll learn. Sorry.
We go back
No.
to Joel and Ellie, and Ellie is rightly so very, very distant to Joel. And again, this is just at the point where Joel has like really, really opened up to Ellie, and I feel like a bit of like a character switch has happened where Ellie was trying to get everything out of Joel, but now Joel's trying to get everything out of Ellie. But of course, yeah. Ellie is incredibly distant from what had happened from the previous episode. Like you say, a couple of months have passed by this point, would you say? There's no more snow everywhere? A bit warmer?
No, we're in a different season now. We're in spring. I think we're in spring.
Yes, we are. And the guys they're discussing, they're talking a good bit from the video game where Ellie hands a ladder down to Joel and he goes, oh my God, Jesus Christ, look at this. I'm not quite sure what she would have spotted from where she originally was, and then to run all the way up the stairs to then find what we thought wasn't going to happen, but it did, guys.
Sorry, Matt. Can I just jump before we get there?
Of course.
On the RV on the roadside, just as they enter Salt Lake City.
Yes.
They walk past an RV, which I've got a picture of in the show. It's the one the one after the pickup shot.
Yes.
And that is also contained within the game as well, which I'll post. And they've done a really good job of replicating that RV as well. So this was the period of time where Joel did raise about teaching Ellie about like whether she wanted to go ahead and learn the guitar. Like they used a lot of the game's dialogue here as well. Mm-hmm. And that RV, when you look at it compared to the game, they've absolutely nailed it.
Very good job with that.
They've done a very good job with that RV. So yeah, like even that specific RV. Joel said in the show that he found a broken guitar in there, which is why he asked Ellie if he wanted to learn guitar. She wanted to learn guitar, but in the game they just were talking about it. But in the RV, there is some really dark shit in that RV in the game. So in the RV, in the game, when you go into that RV, there's a picture of a family. You got a dad, mum, and two children. And then on the bed at the end of the RV is a sheet covering three of them with bullet holes through them and blood coming. So I think the father may have executed the three remaining family members and left them in the RV. So that's what in the RV. For those who are watching the show who was wondering what was in that RV, that hero was in the RV. So
hero was in that RV.
Yes, or a guy was in the RV, and yeah, that was just a very dark
but again,
point.
another fantastic bit of world building and storytelling that they could have easily put into the show, but skim over it. I don't get it. I'm lost for words.
You wouldn't find that in the game unless you went in there and yourself. Cause I don't remember that, so I must have not gone into the RV. I assume that's unless you actually go in there.
Yeah, you do have to go. You can just walk past it, or you can go into it. But yeah, just like little things like that where they include.
It just really helps me kind of get immersed into a world where it's like little things going on in the background, or like a little note here and a little thing there. But I can understand it's probably a bit more difficult to do in a TV show, but it just really helps me kind of get into it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the visuals as well, just in that starting scene as well, where you've got the signs for Salt Lake City and the turn off and stuff like that. Even throughout the episode, they've really like nailed what the game looked like compared to the show. And I was really surprised that they did that because it felt like I was, in that game world. It didn't feel like we were in a different place. But sorry, Matt, I interjected.
No,
you were saying.
It's okay. They delivered on one animal this season, and that is the giraffes.
The giraffe.
Yeah, I wish it was. I wish it was. No, we got giraffes, and looking online, this was not a CG giraffe. This was a living, breathing giraffe. Everyone.
Oh, really?
No.
Apparently so.
What?
Apparently so. They got a giraffe in. I think they blue screened absolutely everything, and filmed the giraffe. And they filmed the Ellie and Joel feeding the giraffe. And this was a genuine giraffe.
What all the shots CG?
Nope.
Oh, sorry. What all the shots real? Sorry, because I swear some of them did look CG.
Some of them
'cause they
looked
really
real,
rough.
yeah, real bad.
Yeah,
but
so
no,
maybe
apparently real.
when they want, I think maybe when they wanted the giraffe to peck on the leaves. I don't know. Maybe I suppose.
When
like,
they
yeah.
walked off, it was probably CG. But this interaction, they
Mm.
would have just gone to a zoo, set up a box with a blue screen behind it, and just fed a giraffe.
So this raises a question. Does that mean there's also lions running around?
It
Well,
could
haven't
be.
these come from a zoo?
Yeah. Are there lions
Yeah.
in this zoo? Are there jaguars now running around? What's the deal here?
Well,
I mean,
I'd also be pretty impressed how they all survived the winter.
That's also a very good point.
Like, if they're just wandering around in the open, they had a pretty cold bloody winter.
I mean,
And it was really sweet.
we've already seen the pack of monkeys. They've escaped
True.
from somewhere.
True.
We got the giraffes, but then I suppose some animals are going to adapt to the climate better than others. Some are just going to die out in certain
I'd
seasons
love
because
to
it's
see a
not what they
giraffe
used to.
wipe out a clicker. I'd like to see anyone wipe out a clicker at this point. Sorry, it would just be like a proper headbutt. Wah! Oh, I'd be sick.
Going back to the ladder,
Yes.
again, I agree. I think that was a really nice touch because it was really,
Yep.
that's like an element of the game
Yep.
where they have to help each other out. And again, what Matt said, what she would see from that edge and then run up another 3-floor stories.
Yeah.
How tall is that giraffe?
I mean,
I know giraffes famously are tall.
I knew it's coming. Famously, giraffes are quite tall.
Famously, giraffes are really tall. But I don't think they're that bloody tall. And also, I believe as well, I think it's that shot, when they're looking out, an Easter egg is there. Apparently, when a game developer was making the game, he named a building in the distance. This thing on the blue, although it's blurry.
Is it like a scoreboard?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the score was saying that it's written. Do you know about this? Have you seen this?
I've only seen it very briefly.
So he's named it after his wife, and it was in the game. And they don't think that HBO realised it was like a little Easter egg just between him and his wife, and they copied it word for word in the
You're
TV.
joking.
Oh,
That's so cool.
And he was like,
We got him.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, he just put it in there for a laugh because it was just background. There was no main focus. But even though it was blurred on TV show, if you zoom in enough on it, you can make it out. It was it's exactly word for word. It's his wife's name under the scoreboard.
And I think
And
that little detail just really adds to this whole. They've done such a good job at replicating this scene that they've accidentally included an Easter egg between a man and his wife. It's just really well done. This part really well done.
Yeah,
I
like,
bet he got laid that night. I bet that was like, you made that to HBO.
I bet she weren't wearing any panties after seeing that.
I mean, like
Brownie.
lots of brownie points for the game and for the show. They've gone ahead and done a really good job as well of like the whole like viewpoint across there in the game. Or you got all the landmarks, you got the baseball field, you got all the buildings on the left and the right. So yeah, I just love that they replicated that so faithfully. That was really cool.
If they could replicate this so well, why couldn't they?
Well, the
Kill a
things
bunny. I just wanted a bunny with an arrow in his head. You know, just I'm a simple man. I am a simple
Don't
man.
ask for much.
I don't ask for much. Next up, terrible puns. Nathan, I bet you liked this part, didn't you?
Ugh.
Terrible puns. Terrible puns.
what is that in the military tent area?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't really enjoy those puns. I don't know, like I just didn't think they were. Yeah, no.
And
no,
again,
but,
it's at this point.
then
where
again,
I'm
they're shitty
kind of
puns.
like, they're fucking shit puns.
They're
At this
shitty puns,
point,
yeah.
I was kind of just gritting my teeth and bearing through, just not believing that these two characters would have this relationship with what I've seen on the. Now, it's me trying to push away the fact that I've played the game Shock Horror, right? But I just, even for someone who maybe hasn't seen the game be played through, again, I'm in a very lucky situation where I was watching this with people who haven't seen the game. I just don't feel like they had the same, like, I just don't see them having the same bond. as they do in the game. I bring it up again, and I'll bring it up again later on in the episode. But it's just, I just
Yeah,
wanted more. I just want more of this, of these two characters talking way too loud, in my opinion, walking through an area that's supposed to be like really dangerous and like full of raiders and clickers and fireflies and stuff. I just wanted more of this.
I think, yeah, like it's the whole thing is like you're joining them on the journey, but we've only really joined them for half the journey, you know. Or that's how it feels with the show, because it keeps on kind of being like, oh, but what about this over here? What about this character? Here's a new character and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that like I've enjoyed how they've played around with these things, but does it detract from the main, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, the main thing.
Yes, it does.
In this bit as well, they're talking about like their life after, like once they get to this hospital, they figure this out and they'll do whatever they want. But in the game, you could kind of like picture them two kind of like having a life where they're just like they're out, you know, they're just is that relationship they have with a father figure and a daughter figure. But this in the TV show, it just seems like it would be awkward if them two went off, lived on a ranch somewhere, and just survived. It would just get really weird. But in the game, you felt they could take on the world.
Yeah. To be fair, like my brain went to like, oh, this is a game, so I immediately fell for it. I forgot about the show's build up, and then I just instantly transported myself to how I felt when this was done in the game, and then I just accepted everything that was thrown at me in this episode. I really liked their talk, because when they were going through the military tents, Joel was saying how he tried suicide a few days after the event, which I don't think is in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that's in there.
I don't remember it being in the game.
But you know, it makes sense, and it's just you know, something that Joel's divulging to Ellie. And I think they that speech after where Ellie was saying that so time he heals all wounds, I guess, and then Joel turns around and he says it wasn't time that did it, and I thought that was a really nice line. I thought that was a really nice line. I thought that was really cute.
Do you know why? Because you've got your video game goggles on now, boy. That would have been a real nice line between two characters that have really gone through shit together. But yeah.
I think it was a nice line, but it was delivered in a really cheesy way.
I was like waiting for him to look directly into the camera and wink and be like,
hey. Also, try killing yourself by shooting yourself in the head and miss. How fucking stupid are you?
Well, he did say that he kind of instinctively pulled it away.
He flinched, and now he's deaf. He's stupid, and that explains why he was such a shit shot with the clickers. Dog shit.
Yeah, he mentioned that he was deaf or kind of he had lost hearing in one ear.
Yeah, he's deaf because he missed trying to kill himself. He's pathetic. He shouldn't. He's not up for the task. He's not up for the challenge. He's not qualified. He should just get his guitar.
But he's all we got left, Drew. He's all we got.
Shit shot.
So they get flashbanged.
Oh yeah, so that probably didn't help his hearing either.
They get me in Warzone, mind my own bloody business, talking to Drew.
What did you think of the line, Matt? The time heals all wounds. It wasn't time. It was you.
I did not like it. I didn't like it. Did he say it was you? I thought we just said.
It wasn't time.
It wasn't time that did it. Kind of indicating that it was her.
It just didn't.
Don't get me wrong. I totally agree. I totally agree that like just based on the show, we haven't had the build up and the run up and the investment in that characters for that line to pay off the way it should have. I do agree with that. But for me, because I played the game, I was like, oh my god, that's so nice. This guy. It might have just been looking into Pedro's eyes. I don't know what it is, but that kind of sold it, and that's why I feel that like this episode in itself kind of, you know, detached from, you know, the rest of the series in its context. It just kind of drew me to a good place. But yeah, no, I fell for that line. But I do agree how that line wouldn't land.
I just found it really uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
It's just if I was just watching this from this TV show here, and I'd just picked it up from this TV show, like we've said, and I'll say it again, I just don't believe the relationship between these two characters. This line was put in so people would make TikToks of Pedro Pascal saying, "Time doesn't heal our wounds, but maybe you do, baby girl." It's like just Arthur Morgan there for a second. Just
Pedro, look
Chicken
it up.
wings.
yeah. Leonard
Pedro
Skinner. Yeah. Yeah.
Pedro saying that line, looking to the right, and then just someone green screening themselves in, looking to the left, being like, "Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, Joel."
In fact,
But yeah, gotta
that's
say
what I'm
that
gonna
again,
do.
Joel.
That's what I'm
You
gonna
can
do.
teach me guitar afterwards. Oh.
Yeah, yeah. I like that there is something going on in the background between these two really boring characters, and I thought it was a clicker. But no, again, no infected this episode. Why are we even looking for a cure at this point? Everywhere's safe. These guys are walking around not caring the world. Everywhere's fine. They get flashbanged. Me in Warzone. I'm talking with Drew down the
Why are
street.
we
We get flashbanged. Drew gets dragged off. I get a butt in the back. He's like, God damn it.
It happens.
And why would you choose such a complicated logo to spray paint everywhere? Where have they even spray painted this? On a big jug of water? What's the...
I was thinking this, like you've got to carry around a stencil and not get that thing
That's a good point.
creased up ever.
Maybe this is where Sam and Henry got their paint. Fireflies have always packing red paint. Maybe.
They just stumbled across his attic. And it's like, look,
Oh, look at
awesome
it.
crafts.
This is awesome. Someone made the stencil. This is awesome.
That's a good point. They would have to carry around a stencil, wouldn't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you weren't carrying around a stencil, were you a firefly? Because how would you tell other
How would you
people?
tell other people? It's the post-apocalyptic equivalent of being a vegan. Right. Joel wakes up in the hospital bed. And it's everyone's favourite mother killer. It's Marlene. She's back, everyone. She made it. She's made it across as well. Here she is with her guys. I think she quotes that she had 5 people with her and she nearly lost all of them on the run over. So she was quite shocked and surprised to see that Joel and Ellie had even made it as far as they have. Which then begs the question: why didn't just all 7 of them go together? If Ellie's like potentially the cure to the infection that they clearly desperately need right now, because it's hell out there, guys. There's loads of clickers out there, loads of them, like 4, maybe 5. We need this cure.
Lena had to regroup because all of her fireflies got killed, didn't they? In the when we meet Ellie.
Maybe she needs to be a better leader than mate and stop telling them to blow stuff up.
I completely agree. But I think she had to heal because she was shot. She was wounded. And then the original plan was for him then just to take her to the outpost where Tess starts, wasn't it? That was supposed to be the Firefly camp. And then they weren't there. And then they agreed to move on. So
but
Fireflies were just getting fucked up everywhere.
But they left at completely different times, but here they are at the end anyway. So they could have waited a couple of days.
If anything, Marlena beat them.
Yeah, if anything, she's been there looking at her clock going, where the fuck you been? We thought you died. We were going to send out the search parties.
She walked past them. just had her hand across her face. I don't see it. They don't see me. They don't see me. I do not want a snotty teenager telling me shit puns for the next 600 miles.
I don't think she's ever given off a something that she did here as well confused me because she's never really given off a vibe that she cares about Ellie. Like for me, I don't know if anyone else is feeling this, but she gives off she definitely gives the vibes that she cares about the cause, like the Fireflies cause. That's what she cares about, and
I hope so, mate. She's the leader.
Oh yeah. But she occasionally gets a bit guilty over the fact of what she has to do. But her affection for anyone doesn't seem to be. She doesn't seem to care about Ellie or Anna because she just. I mean, that was cold popping Anna the way she did. There was no, well, I mean, it was needed, but can I get you anything? Is there anything you want to talk about? Last words,
She's just a straight soldier.
Oh yeah, but then
she has an objective and she'll see it through.
She gives, but this is what makes me question it again. She gives the guards Ellie's knife as a memento. And that's what Marlene received from Anna. Why would you give that away? As Marlene said, she's been with Ellie since she's kind of been in charge of Ellie since birth, and she received that from her friend. Why would she give that knife to Joel and then be like, oh yeah, if he tries anything, shoot him? So it's like why would you give away the one memento you have of your friend and her kid to someone who you're willing to just get shot and walk out of the building?
Whoa. We don't know how much of a friend Anna and Marlena were. once she was handed Ellie as a child, she took her back and then she put Ellie into the system. Hence why
Oh,
Ellie
yeah.
then ran around. So she may not have even been like panicked because Ellie just went into the system. Didn't go home to Marlena for like dinner and stuff. Marlene. I keep on saying it wrong. I don't care. It's the last episode. Marlene. She didn't go home to Marlene every night for dinner. She stayed in this like camp and this boarding school. So it probably wasn't any relationship. And I'm pretty sure she gave the knife to the guard and she was going to give that back to Joel once he got to the he got out of the thing. So Joel would have had it because he's been across the memento for him and Ellie.
Yeah, I mean, like, I won't go on to it now, but there's other things that she says towards Joel at the end of the episode that makes me think, like, why are you saying that as if you care about Ellie?
I think she only cares. I think she only cares when it matters. Like we'll discuss in a bit when she's got a gun pointing at her. Like, dude, I totally cared about her, totally all the time. Yeah, loved her. Mad about the kid. Just don't shoot me again. Like,
It really hurt the first time.
Yeah, I'm like, you shot me like you did Nathan. Like, I'm just bleeding out over it. Oh, I can't finish it. Come on.
Remember when we played Cluedo that one time?
Yeah.
I gave Ellie that chicken sandwich.
yeah. Oh, mate, that sandwich looks so good though.
But yeah, no. I just thought it was like, I thought it just revealed Marlene's character, the way
And her motives,
like what she was saying, and then what she was doing, seemed to just show plainly that she was about the cause. Yeah, it's bad what's happening, but I don't care about these people. I care about what needs to be done. That's it.
More importantly, who is called Marlena? Why have I got that name from?
Where have you got that name from?
No one's called Marlena.
Marlena.
Have you just like Spanished it up a bit for some reason? I don't know.
There's got to be a TV show, someone called Marlena.
While Drew's looking through his phone to find out about that. Marlene knows how strong and brutal Joel is and gets him to leave the facility while they operate on Ellie. Is it at this point that he kind of puts it together that the cordyceps are around the brain and that, like, come on, we're in a post-apocalyptic life right now. There's no way that a kid's surviving from that.
Marlene says that what Ellie has, she's got something that produces a chemical signal that makes normal cordyceps think that she's cordyceps. And then I think she mentioned something about the brainstem and stuff like that. And I was just thinking, if a doctor's thinking that's the case, then why are infected going after Ellie if the cordyceps think she's cordyceps? But then again, that's what she thinks the doctor thinks. So she hasn't had any impact.
I don't like this doctor.
I suppose she doesn't. But then again, if she had that immunity from the outset, she already knew Ellie got bit. And why would Ellie get bit if cordyceps thought she was cordyceps? So she's not questioning this. She's just saying, "Oh, the doctor says this." Therefore, to be fair, the doctor would medically know more than her. But yeah, she didn't question that really.
I didn't even think that. Why would she have even got bitten if the cordyceps already think that she's cordyceps because she's already been immune for her entire life? God damn it, Nathan.
I mean, it could have just been, like if someone in a professional field tells you something and then you just relay it badly because you don't understand it. That could just be it. That might just be it here. So
I'm listening. I'm walking over it.
Yeah. Anybody, she says that to the doctor and he's like, no, not at all. No.
Yeah, you are not listening at all. This girl is gonna die if she comes in here.
I explained this to you for 2 hours. I don't just need her foot.
That was a PowerPoint.
Yeah, that was this kid.
But there was they've tried this on other people, haven't they? Ellie's not the first. They've had kids all the way through.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, I mean, in the game, yes, they had.
That's highlighted a lot more in the game, isn't it?
Yeah, they had lots of subjects in the game, but they were all kind of various degrees of failures. Here, they did have a pediatric ward set up in that ward, and also had like surgery set up and stuff like that as well. So they already had the facilities in place to do this kind of work. So I would imagine that it would suggest that maybe there were others, because otherwise it seems a bit. They didn't know Elliot was coming, so why were they prepped, ready to go?
I agree. I think there's been others, but I just don't feel like it was made very clear in the game. It was made clear, like, yeah, we've come across people like this before, and we're trying it, and we can't get it right at all. Like they're just in the bucket now.
I think even in the show, it's probably safe to assume that as well, because the doctor the doctor's already got his mind on this.
Mm.
So I'd imagine this hasn't just come out of fresh air. He's actually gone ahead and come to this conclusion via they're working towards a cure. That's their MO. So I think they've probably been using that for other subjects, I would think.
And why do they need a paediatric surgery? I'm sure any surgery bed would do.
I was going to say.
Why does it have to be so specific? Do you think they've had to climb 4 sets of stairs to must get to peds? So why do you need to go to the paediatrics? We just must. So, but the surgery is on the ground floor. It's why not stay up here?
But she's a kid. She has to go to paediatrics.
It's just ridiculous. It doesn't matter. It means dick all now in the paediatric zone because you put a fucking firefly symbol over the top of it. You spray painted vandal.
To be fair, I suppose there's no reason to have that there, really, is it? If anything, it just helped Joel find them and kill them.
Exactly.
It was just because it's not. Yeah, because I suppose maybe it's kind of thematically they had to do that just so that logically it would work, so Joel would know where to go rather than just being hidden away room 706.
But they're not fireflies come back and they've themselves, but they've desiccated the show. They go, oh, you better go to orthopedics. They haven't fully staffed an entire hospital, have they?
Yeah,
Really?
well, as Joel was walking past, a lot of the rooms were empty, weren't they? So they had their.
Because there's only 5 of them in there.
Oh yeah. Well, now there are. Well, no, probably less. But I'm guessing that they had their own reasons to do that in that room. Maybe it had, I don't know, stuff for that kind of surgery. I don't know. I think they're doing it for story's sake, so it glued together. I think, yes.
Marlene sends Joel on his way with 2 armed guards with the promise of giving him Ellie's knife as soon as he gets out. Is it out to the bridge, kind of out to the outskirts of his pack, and just be like, yeah, go on then. Thanks for that. Fuck off. Get out of here. Go, you've done what you needed to do. And Joel's kind of taking in his surroundings as he goes. He knows what floor he's on. He knows to go to paediatrics. He knows to follow all this spray paint, which literally says, "We're over here. Come get us." And then this vicious Joel, and a Joel that I've known for a long time in the game, comes out, and he just immediately overpowers these 2 fully armed guards. And just starts off just an absolute fantastic killing spree, which I think is
my boy
pretty well done for TV, I will say.
It was well done, and I like the fact that he kept on picking up other people's guns. I like that because it was obviously you run out of the ammo, you have to pick it up. They did that very well. I liked it.
Kept a nice line from the game where he kind of interrogates the first guard, like, "Where is she?" And he goes, I'm not telling you shit, man." He goes, "I don't have time." He goes, bang, straight in his gut, and just runs off anyway. It's like, oh, damn. I don't know what rifle he's running, but I will need this for Warzone 2. He needs to drop me his loadout. Yeah, I need this man's loadout because he is just absolutely just wrecking house with this gun, picking up other guns, M16s, different rifles, pistols, and it's just, a really well shot. I prefer the game, but for this action sequence here, my only downside, my only negative, I just wish it was longer. I wish it was just more action. But again, I think that's just like the bloke talking in me, just like more things blowing up and people dying and guns and all this other kind of stuff, and it's just.
I played this level on hard mode in the game. It took me almost a year to complete.
it wasn't easy.
Quite hard, man.
You really had to sneak around as much as you could because once it kicked off, there you were.
We had no ammo. There was just no ammo there. Insane.
I had to stab everyone.
Do you know what I think this is missing? Nail bombs.
Clickers.
And clickers.
Oh, nail bombs.
I was really hoping for a crab walk where he was just grabbing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously people don't move like that. I was really hoping just for 2 seconds crab walk, just like
going into a crouch,
besides the kitchen cabinet, he's crab walking, grabbing some nails out of a drawer while someone's in the background through a window. And he's just crab walking. He makes a little nail bomb and he throws it. That would have been cool. But
also, no homemade shivs.
No, none.
No shivs. No. But I suppose the gun is. Well, yeah, the gun makes sense.
It shoots.
I mean, in the hall, in the stairwell, he'd already gone loud and he'd already heard gunshots. It was already full alert. So going back to shivs is probably
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
What was that noise? And then 2 minutes later, they're like, "Oh, never mind."
I thought the Fireflies would have put up a bit more of a fight. They clearly had the numbers on him and knew he was coming. Like, why would they not go, hey, that guy we just brought in with that little girl is like shooting the place up. I reckon he's going to go get the girl. Where's she? You know, pediatrics, where all the girls are. Like, put all the kids. Put them all there. Let's like reinforce or have some more barricades or something. But there's no barricades because it's not a dangerous world. They're the danger, the Fireflies.
I think they've got the equipment, but they're not. I don't think they're
It's
well
all set up for
trained.
kids, though, isn't it? That's what it was. They was all in paediatrics. Joel shot them all up. Like, we've only been set up for kids.
Get them in here. We've only got one doctor.
Look at the duck. Look at the duck on my finger that makes the boom boom go away. We've only got small band-aids. God damn it.
I need the cowpole. I need cowpole stat.
6 plus. We've only got 6 plus. And if it wasn't for that, if they weren't in paediatrics, they'd all be alive still today.
Yep.
But
I was surprised. I mean, it was weird because in the game I flamethrowered the rest of the doctors, but it didn't happen in the show. So I was like, have I overreacted here? Like,
am I the bad guy?
I thought
is doctors when she's on the table?
Yeah.
Like the initial surgeon, I just flamethrowed everyone.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, Nathan.
So
You better have had no ammo.
I'd other ammo. I just wanted to
torch stuff. I hear the screams. Why not flamethrower the room where the target you're trying to save is in?
like, look. I was already running on a massive adrenaline high. Like I had just gone through 20 armed people, and I was like feeling pretty like hot shit, right? So I walked into this, and I was like, pull a knife out, pull a surgical blade out of me, will ya? You want to parlay? Get out of my fucking flamethrower.
Whoosh.
Yeah, and then that they would warm Ellie up. So I could.
She might be hypothermic.
She might be hypothermic. It was winter a few months ago. You don't know. So yeah, but yeah, no. In the show, it kind of fair enough. There was no need to kill those nurses. So and it wasn't. I'm sure in the game as well. In the game, you can leave the 2 nurses alive. That's fine. So yeah.
Oh, can you?
Yeah. You don't have to kill the nurses.
Coming from the man who flamethrowed everyone. Okay.
And you even though there was an option, it didn't sound like you even gave him a chance.
Oh, I did it several times. No, but the other 2 were left alone, and you can leave them alone in the game if you wish. Because I think a lot of people, I've heard it before, where people were like, "Oh, you didn't have to." Of course not. They weren't armed, and they had their arms in the air, and they were like, "Don't."
So did this dude. Did he
not?
Did he not?
But I think it was pretty stupid of the surgeon to put a knife and be like, "I can't let you take her." And it's like, well, what do you think is going to happen when the guy with the gun? You've just heard all this gunfire.
He's hoping he's run out of ammo.
Yeah, I mean, what's the move here?
He's like furious when paediatrics are not down in fucking canteen. That's what he
He looked at his back and went, "You haven't got a flamethrower. You ain't got shit."
I have a theory about this scene.
Hit me up.
Oh yeah.
So you got the 3 people there, surgeon, and when you walk into the room, you see these 3 people, and as he raises the gun, there's a 4th behind the table facing away and turns to face you, and then the surgeon gets shot and she freezes. I reckon that 4th was Abby.
Really?
And I think it's going to turn out in season 2 or whenever Abby comes in.
Do we have a shot of that?
Abby was in the room when the surgeon got shot.
Oh.
Which is spoiler alert. You can't see it there. Yeah, you can't see it there, but she's to the right of this shot. Honest to God, she's to the right of that shot. It's cut off there, but she is behind the machines.
But she would need to be scrubbed up though, right? She couldn't.
Yes, she was. She wasn't just like sitting there. She was all. It was almost like he's like, come to work, but you have to be like sterile and all that. It's like bring daddy daughter to work day. And I think
I thought Abby would have been one of the 2 more prominent nurses at the table.
I know, because she's going to be a kid. Because don't forget, there's the jump.
Of course. Well, yeah, but I mean, they're still pretty. I mean, they've got face masks on, and it's a bit difficult to tell. But
yeah, Abby's at best is like 25 in season 2.
True, would have been 18 at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. She, like, Joel only directed the 2 nurses to turn around. Are you saying there's another person there?
There's another person there. Please rewatch it. There's a 4th person.
I'll rewatch it. Yeah, no, I'll see. Easter egg here. One of the nurses, I believe it's the one. I mean, they look like sisters in this.
There's one at the front. The one at the front of the.
One of the nurses in this picture.
One
is,
facing Joel right now.
One's wearing a name tag saying Abby.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a voice actor. She's a voice actor for Abby in
Really?
Part 2. Laura Bailey. Yeah, she was the one. I think she's the
Wow.
one on the left in that picture. I think that looks like Laura Bailey. I think.
Wow.
But yeah, no, she's she sent quite a funny text to Neil Druckmann. To be fair, on Twitter, it's just the doctor dead on the floor, and she's like holding up peace sign like next to the doctor, like yeah, boy. I thought that was quite funny. But yeah, so yeah, just a little Easter egg there. So yeah, yeah, I'm gonna watch it again because I didn't see that.
I reckon
really
it's going to come out. I reckon it's going to come out when it's all right. Obviously, Abby's dad was a surgeon. She died. It's going to come out that she was there. That's how she knows what Joel looks like, who Joel is, and then spends her future hunting him down.
Yeah. So yeah. And
I was
then
quite
he
surprised
went again
they
to-
didn't play on it more. I guess they did have a bit of a lingering shot on the dead doctor on the floor. But I thought it would have been like maybe just a reaction from one of the girls in Scrubs or something. Because like if one was facing away and your dad just got shot down, I mean, you'd have a bit of a reaction, surely. But
one of the
yeah, one of the nurses. Like if to say it was Abby on the far back there, like not facing everyone.
like as soon as the doctors get killed, one of the nurses could just turn and look at the camera and be like, "That could be important in season 2," and then just looks back at Joel.
Remember this.
Yeah, everyone will remember that.
This is probably a plot point we'll pick up in 8
It
years.
would
and
be
turn
like
around
the
to-
Walking Dead game. Abby will remember that. Yeah.
And then he makes his way to the lift.
Oh my god, this bit really annoyed me.
Oh, that we didn't have the people shooting him on the way to the lift.
Not that. It was the fact that he's now met up with Marlene again in the bottom here,
Oh,
and
and
she's kind of got. Do you know what I didn't like about this? We had a flashback to 7 fucking minutes ago of Joel and Marlene and Ellie, and then Joel and Ellie in the car, and then flashback in case you. What's the point? What's the
That's how it
point?
happened. That's how it happened in the game. Exactly.
I
how
know,
it happened
Nathan,
in
and
the
it annoys me now that they haven't changed it. What's the point?
Yeah, but the point is that you don't know. I mean, like again, it hits harder in the game, but you don't know what decision Joel's made because his face signifies. Because Marlene's like, "Look, you've still got a chance here, right? No one's remembering the gun that he's got on him. He doesn't look like he's got a gun on him because he's hidden under Ellie's legs." And it's like, what decision has Joel made? And even when they go to him in the car, he's like closing his eyes to be like, "What have I done?" And that could, but either way, you could be like, has he taken her or has he given her back? What has he done? And I think the way that they go between the flashbacks is because it helps with that reveal, doesn't it? Like, Ellie's in the car. Okay, what happened? Bam, got shot. I know. I just, yeah.
I just like it.
I'm not a fan of flashbacks, but I did like the how this panned out in the game and how it was on this. It wasn't too because in the game when he shoots her from underneath Eddie's legs, I was like,
Reminded me of Mandalorian at that point, just the
I've
gunslinger,
never
like
seen it.
bang. It was just.
The one like the thing that with Marlene, and I thought this was cheeky of Marlene to say this, where Marlene, because earlier on when she was before she gave the when she was with the guards and Joel, she was saying how oh yeah, we've what line did she use? Oh, sorry, I've got it. Oh yeah, we didn't tell her, we didn't cause her any fear, there won't be any pain. So that's her saying, look, Ellie doesn't know that she's in surgery. We chloroformed her from behind and she's going under.
Oh my god.
But she's fine with it. And then towards the end here, she's like, they're talking to each other, Joel and Marlene, and they're both saying, well, you don't get to decide. Well, you don't get to decide. And then Marlene's like, well, what would she decide as in Ellie? Like, I think she would decide to do what's right. And I'm like, well, if you were that confident, why did you feel the need
Chloroform.
to chloroform her and take her to surgery unknowingly without her consent or authorization to do surgery that will just basically you're just killing her. and not giving her any indication as to what's happening. And she doesn't know. And then Marlene's like, she would have probably said yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was like, don't give me that. Don't give me that. She was not. She.
They go way back, though, Nave. They go way back. They know each other. It's fine. She would have said yes.
This is it. This is why I was like, you're full of shit, Marlene. You know, Joel did the right thing here. Yeah, I'm
Realistically, though, what do you think Ellie would have said? Do you think she would have told him to fuck off, or do you think she would have sacrificed herself to try and help?
Whoa.
Part of me thinks she would have let him go ahead with it, because she's like, yeah, my life's shit. This is dog shit. I've just walked like 600 miles. My feet are cold.
But then again, like it's one of those things where like it's not just Joel who's become close to Ellie. It's Ellie who's become close to Joel. So is she going to want to give that up?
We're going to say it's Ellie that's become close to Ellie. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Ellie. But yeah, no, like would Ellie have wanted to give that up? You know, I mean, she's already seen Jackson. She's seen what's out there. She's seen the life she can have. She
saw Jackson just start shouting at everyone.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know in hindsight, but yeah, like it's yeah. I don't know. To be honest, she might have. I mean, that was her purpose, wasn't it? So I don't know, but yeah. The way that they went about it was really bad, and I think like no wonder Joel had this reaction. If you're like the person that they've travelled with all these months over the last year, you just say, "Oh, we're gonna, without the consent, just chloroform and kill them." They would have said yes, so it's fine. I mean, aren't there usually forms you have to sign with surgery? Just in day-to-day life, you know.
If you've gone through all this way to make sure she goes to paediatrics, the least you can do is have her sign a form.
Yeah, yeah, like it's and that form is like something bad could happen, and this surgery is
you
like
aware of it.
we're going to remove your brainstem. Can you sign here, please?
Do you think Marlene made him sign against medical advice form? You are leaving against medical advice. If something happens to it, it ain't on us.
It's not on that. Yeah.
When we're getting sued again.
I reckon Ellie would have gone through with it, and that's why Joel lies to her in the end.
Yeah, potentially. But I think like I think Joel was totally justified to do what he did. Like it's, you know, they
didn't very far, does it?
That they didn't like if they had other subjects, how did they know? It was a shot in the dark. Like even Joel said before, like I've heard about all these cures and this and that, and like of course every next doctor thinks he's got the next cure.
Well, you completely debunked the theory in 30 seconds, Nave.
Oh, about the normal cordyceps being yeah. Like, I mean,
hold on, she's got cordyceps. She's one of us. Don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, like they were all kind of controlled by like some sort of hive fungus mind. I mean, the infected didn't attack each other when they were going after tests, did they? So I mean, there's no indication infected have ever attacked each other. So, you know, if they think Ellie's infected, then it kind of, you know, did Marlene put two and two together? But again, it could have just been her relaying bad information. But yeah, no, I think, yeah, I mean, these are people who just chloroform children and kill them without their consent. Yeah, no, blast them away. They're no different to any of David's lot, to be honest.
What?
Jesus.
Nathan. So where would you stand? Who would you stand with? Would you be Fedra, Fireflies, or WF?
Oh God, there's so many problems with each of those groups.
There's no good group anymore.
Yeah, there's no good guy here. Honestly, I don't know. I would. But the thing.
Or you can join my group.
Yeah, no, negative.
We have Netflix.
If I started limping, you'd fucking blow my face off.
Of course I would. Just slow me down.
Honestly, I don't know. I think I would. Whoever was the nicest to me,
brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Whoever was like, "Do you want a biscuit?" I'll be like, "Yeah, all right."
Whoever's got the clue, can you all bring me one person from each group and have them serve me a latte? Whoever has the best latte, I will join your group. It'll be like the Bachelorette with the roses, but it'll bring Nathan lattes.
Yeah, I wouldn't even tell him latte. I'd be like, use your intuition. Get me a morning drink. Who's going to bring me the best morning drink? Go. I'll kill people for you. Just let me know. Just give me the good morning drink, and then I'll start killing. Okay? tea.
Good morning
It's all right,
drink.
but
Who can put the heel on the pain and make me a good morning drink?
Grapefruit juice. What the fuck is this?
but yeah, like I think the Fireflies handled this horribly, and no wonder they got a reaction like they did from Joel. And if anything, they could have, if they did get Ellie's consent and they were so confident they could have got it, which I don't think Marlene was, but they could have potentially gone ahead with it. And if Ellie was saying to Joel, like, let me do this, then what?
He wouldn't have let her.
He would have tried to talk her out of it, but like, would he have like kidnapped her away?
Yes.
And do you reckon?
Yeah.
I suppose he kind of
And
did that anyway.
he would have blacked out, had a rage, and started calling her Sarah. She'd be like, "What the fuck you calling me Sarah for, dickhead?" And that would be it.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, the Fireflies.
In season 2, Joel's the bad guy, and Ellie has to escape Joel. That would be season 2. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But yeah, no. So, but yeah, no, I did like the. Yeah, I appreciate, Matt. You weren't keen on the flashbacks there. I personally thought
I'm just sick of flashbacks now.
Welcome. It's good to have you.
I really liked it. To be honest, it was.
Do you know what's worse than a flashback?
Flash forward?
Sing-along songs. When every series does it, like a sitcom, where you get one episode, but the whole cast starts singing.
I'm all for that. You know, times are tough, and we've got to get a sing-song episode in.
Give it time. You like flashbacks 9 episodes ago.
Yeah. Do you know what's worse than a flashback? Do you know what's worse than flashbacks? Talking about a flashback and not showing me the flashback. I'm going to sound like a really going back on all, I'm going to go back on all of my words here of saying about the flashbacks. But the aftermath's kind of happened, and Joel and Ellie are kind of now in the vehicle. Ellie asks a few questions. Joel begins to kind of like weave in this lie of, yeah, they've been trying it on loads of people. They didn't think it was going to work. Then the raiders attacked the hospital. Well, it was lucky for us to get out of here. That's why you're in this stuff and not in your own clothes. We'll get you new clothes. I'll buy you all the shiny things. You should gotta believe me, baby girl. And they start their hike back to Jackson. And Ellie opens up about who her first kill was. And this annoyed me because why didn't they show this to us during one of the flashbacks anyway? I think this is all I was asking for in, what was it?
Episode 7.
Yeah, episode 7 DLC episode. Like, show us Ellie physically dealing with an infected Riley and her first love and the emotions that this character would feel so I can get invested in this character and know what she's feeling. But no, it's, oh, hey Joel, You know my first kill is actually my best friend Riley, and that's all we're going to talk about now. That's all we're gonna. I felt like it was such a wasted opportunity. Back in episode 7, where we could have known this whole time that Ellie's first kill was Riley, and I guess a lot of us maybe did know that Ellie's first kill was Riley, but show it to us. I want to see.
I don't even think that bit was brought up in the game because the DLC hadn't even come out yet.
Exactly.
So Riley was.
Add something to this world and let me see Ellie kill her first love and then come to terms with it with Joel and see how Joel then reacts to Ellie saying this, and Joel maybe turn around and go, yeah, I had to kill, and it's just another moment, a trauma that these two can bond over. But it was just, no, they just spoke about it in a single sentence, and I just think it was, yeah, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, they did have that in the game. They had the Sarah's dialogue, but they also had where Ellie mentioned Riley. That was in the game as well when they're overlooking.
At the end.
Yeah, in the end that
I
was.
I was crying at this point. I was crying happy tears.
But why would they even bring that up in the game?
Sell you the DLC.
Well, because it's still Ellie's backstory. They just then made the DLC to kind of explore that further. So the information was there. They just then, I mean, to be honest, they might have planned it from whether they had the DLC planned anyway with the original game, and then they just didn't know where to put it, so they just put it as DLC. But yeah, no, that was in the game.
Corrected, but I still think they should have in that episode they should have had Ellie killing Riley.
Do you think? I mean, like personally, I know I'm at odds with you two on this one, but I think it's good that they left it out. I felt that we already had enough information to know what was going to happen, and we already had the build up of their relationship, and then kind of how it was, and how that shattered in the last few moments, and they knew what was going to happen, and then you leave it there. And I think it's best for some things to be left to the imagination, because I'm thinking what what will it really show you? You already seen like Ellie liking Riley. You've already seen how devastated they were with the situation. What benefit do we really have of seeing Ellie kill Riley? I mean, we already get that kind of visceral kind of trauma with David. Do we need that replicated with Riley as well? What
Yes.
Fulfillment, Nathan. That's what I'd
Yes.
get from it. I'd get fulfillment.
No, fair enough. No, fair enough. I thought, yeah, no, I see that a little bit differently, but I do appreciate kind of that. I suppose it's just another avenue that we could have explored fully. But yeah, no, I think I see that a bit differently.
Yeah,
But no,
I get what you're saying. Like leaving it for an imagination. And then why are we watching a TV show? The whole point.
Give me a single
is-
sentence, and then I'll use my imagination.
but like
So basically, it opens up. So fade in. Ellie and Joel are walking in a mountain area. It's snow on the ground, and then we're going to stop here for half an hour. And you think about that.
well, that's the thing. Like, it's mentioned to tie it in, isn't it? And also, it's just information because in the game it was just kind of background information. Because it was talking about Ellie's first kill, which you didn't know about previously. So leaving certain things to the imagination, I think, is because if they just show you everything and don't leave any room for interpretation or wondering what is or having debate on this, I think it just loses a bit of
But that's what I want as a stupid viewer. I need things spelled out for me as a person who.
I don't watch TV to think.
Yeah, I watch TV to watch things blow up.
I just like like for me personally, just like an analogy, like where they've got horror films and stuff like that, and they've got the suspense of something's there, but you're not quite sure what it is. You've got the house, and then you can hear the
Yeah, I know what ghost is, mate.
I've seen Ghostbusters, mate.
I normally find that as soon as the reveal of the monster or whatever it is over, it becomes less scary. Because it's it's less about the unknown, and your mind's imagination is going, oh, what could it be, and it's going everywhere. So I feel like it's a device used to kind of, as someone watching in the audience, your mind's going everywhere, and it's it's yours. It's kind of you run away with it, and I think that where they omitted Riley's death, I think again, was there a need to explore it? But
like you say, I get what you're saying about the monsters and not knowing what they are, and there's a suspense. But like you just said, we knew what was coming, so there was no suspense there. So just fucking show me a knife in the head.
No, fair enough. To be honest, I think I personally didn't think it was needed, but again, seeing that would be like. Seeing the David scene, I guess, because it would almost be a kind of.
And that was my only complaint with that episode.
But yeah, no, like yeah.
I think you've explained that incredibly well, Nathan. Thank you very much. I think it is. Just I think it's really nice that we don't all agree on everything, which I think is really nice. I like that. Coming to the end of episode 9, episode 10 if you count episode 0. I think it's great that we don't disagree.
I did. Yeah, no, Drew. I did have one more point on that. Have you got any further points on that last bit, Matt?
I don't think so. No, I was just just what I brought up. That I felt that was more of a sucker punch than a flashback. Was just the dropping of it. But yep, go ahead, Nathan. The floor is yours. Please.
My last comment is I still don't know how I feel about them ending it. I don't think I liked the way they ended it in the game, which was exactly the same as the TV show, where it's just like he just lies and it's like. Okay then. And then it's okay. You can't leave me like that.
yeah, but that's like a pivotal moment, isn't it? Like Ellie's like, "Are you like you could just crush me right here?" And Joel's like, "No, it's fine." And she's like, "Cool." So it's like it's gonna come out at some point, or it's that's definitely like a core memory, like that where Ellie's asking that question and getting that answer. You can tell in the moment that that's like core memory for Ellie. And the answer she gets. But yeah, I thought the nice touch in the game was when they did go to the dam briefly, where Ellie was like, "Damn," in the show. And when Joel met Tommy gave Joel a picture of Sarah that he had. And Joel was like, "Look, I don't want that. Just throw it away. I don't need it," because he was where he was at mentally. But Ellie took that picture, kept it on her, And then when they were at the military tents, that's when she said, look, like when Joel was kind of starting to open up to her about Sarah, finally, that's when Ellie turned around and said, look, sorry, but I've had this picture. And Joel was like, well, you know, you can't run away from your past. Thanks very much. And he takes a picture back. It's kind of like him opening up to Ellie about Sarah, but also kind of, you know, moving forward in that process of healing with Sarah as well. So I thought that was really nice in the game. But again, you know, you can't fit everything into the show when you condense it down. But I think it would have been cool if it had that in there as well.
That would have been pretty cool.
That would have been very cool.
If
Very,
they
very
didn't
nice.
waste so much time on bloody flashbacks in previous episodes. Anyway. Anyway.
We'll see how the flashbacks in season 2 get you.
I think this,
No, we won't talk about it yet, mate.
this
I don't wanna
final
say-
scene here, I think, was acted out very well. I will say, with everyone involved, I think they did a very good job with it.
I thought their acting in this episode was fantastic. Yeah, like it was really I kind of wish I felt like the build up to this level of relationship more gradually rather than a kind of steep kind of like we're here. So I'm totally with you on that, Matt.
We're here. This is how we feel. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Does anyone else have anything else to add to episode 9 of the first season of The Last of Us?
Yes. What would we all give it out of 10, the whole series?
I would give it a 9 out of 10.
For the whole series?
Somewhere between an 8 and 9 out of 10.
Wow. Okay, Matt.
I had to stand up for this.
You need a wee.
I need a wee.
I mean, bearing in mind, 5 is like average, so 5 isn't a bad score. But you know, 10 is like, oh, actually, yeah, I'm gonna change it to an 8. Sorry, I'm gonna change it to an 8 out of 10. So 10 is like absolutely cannot improve, 100%. Like you cannot critique because it's so good. Schindler's List level, you know.
Thanks for confirming 1 to 10 for me, no. Appreciate that.
Oh no, but like,
Are you mansplaining the scale?
No, but to be fair, no. In my experience, like if I say in the past, I've been like, oh, a 6 or 7 out of 10, and people are like, what? You hated it? And it's like, no, that's not, because I think, yeah, just I thought I'd put it out there because in my experience, I've just had that. I've said that before, and people jumped on me for it. So I just want to kind of clarify my own score for my own thing. So yeah, sorry, 8 out of 10. I'm going to say
7.
7.
7 out of 10.
I'm going to go 6.
which is still above average. Which is still
It is above average. I did like it, but I just think there was a lot missing from it. I said to you, I think last episode, I think out of the 9 episodes, I've enjoyed 2.5 of them.
Yeah.
It's been very draggy, been very slow in paces, and and it's probably my own fault because maybe in my head I just expected.
I was going to say, I think I've said.
The first episode, I was so like sold. This is it. This is going to be the best thing in the world. And maybe I just wanted too much. But overall, I just don't think. And I've even spoken to other people about it, and they're just like, yeah, it's just kind of drifting off in areas. It just wasn't. Yeah, but I 6 out of 10, I'd say. Not even a fan, really.
How about you, Matt?
Games. I'm just burning all my games. Never playing them ever again. Hate them. And also, for another discussion, can we do like an hour on like how much I just hate Neil Druckmann? Or is that considered
We can do
like?
that. Or do you want us to tag him in it, or?
Yeah, I'll invite him on Twitter.
Hate's a strong word. At least like invite him to defend himself.
I think that like he's definitely to be brought up in the podcast for the next one when we go towards what we think season 2 is going to bring. I think there'll be a lot of good discussion there. Matt, you were sorry, Drew was 6 out of 10.
I
What
said
do you think on this one?
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. So overall vibe, how would you for yourself?
I've said it more than once. The first episode will go down as the perfect pilot for any bit of TV I've watched in recent memory. For people who have and who haven't played the game, you knew what was going on, you knew what was going down, you understood everyone's relationship, and you understood that this man just had his heart ripped out in front of everyone. Oh, Jesus Christ. And then episode 2 comes in, and it's like, right, this is everything I wanted from this series. They are following the game. This is fantastic. They are bringing it to life and bringing it to a new medium of people who maybe don't play video games, and instead of that camp of these games are nerdy. I'm not a nerd. I'm a cool person. I go out and drink at bars and pick up women and stuff and things like that, you know. And then just the episode started to kind of crawl by, and I just started to feel like I'm watching The Walking Dead, and I'm watching people's reactions to the apocalypse. And I understand that plays such an incredible role in this genre of TV and movie, but I've seen it enough. I've seen enough of people reacting to people dying. I've seen it in the game, and they've done it in the game so incredibly well that all they had to do was copy the game. But then if they just copied the game, I would then be in the camp of, well, all I've done is copy the game. Just go and play the game and save yourself some time. I just felt like I built it up so much in my mind, there was no way this was going to go down well for me. It was either going to be completely off of the game, and I wouldn't have liked it because it's not the game, or it would have been a complete replica of the game, and I go, well, what the bloody hell's the point? They've just followed the game word for word. It just didn't sit right with me. I wasn't looking forward, and almost nearly forgot a couple of episodes actually that were going on from my Monday night because I watched Only Connect afterwards, and it was just like, oh yeah, Last of Us tonight. I was like, oh fucking hell yeah, Last of Us is tonight. I need to watch that. We do a bloody podcast about it. I don't know, 7 out of 10. It started off so incredibly strong, and then I just felt like I was having my time wasted.
Do you feel?
Go on.
Sorry.
Go. I just felt like I was having my time wasted with characters that died, that offered very little to what was going on to the actual 2 main characters, and I just couldn't get invested with Joel and Ellie of the TV show. I just couldn't do it.
Cool.
And I'm sorry, everyone.
Looking back on the series as a whole, we needed to hear so much about the lady and how she first saw this and how we needed to bomb the town she was in.
I liked those flashbacks at first because they added stuff that added that, because they added stuff that wasn't in the game, and I liked that. I was like, right.
I think it added gravitas to the situation they were in. You know, there was big worldwide problems to show the extent and the scale of the concern, destruction, and impending doom that there was for this, to kind of really light the fire under the rocket, which was the cordyceps infection around the world. So I don't know. For me, I didn't mind that it didn't go anywhere, because it was just to kind of the initial build up. That was me personally on it. But
absolute waste of time, in my opinion. And just forget about it. Didn't happen. Didn't need to learn anything from it. Waste of time. 6 out of 10 from me. Thank you very much. I hate it.
So I'm giving it an 8 for me personally, because it gives me hope for game adaptations. With the stuff that we've seen in the past, it seems that game adaptations, they get to Hollywood or wherever, and then it gets into the hands of people who don't care about the game, and then they run off with it, and we end up with this kind of sanitized version of a game where it's been, produced for the mass audience. And it didn't feel like that with Last of Us. It did feel that for a game adaptation, it was made by people who genuinely care about the game. Like the details that they put into it, even from like the background scene designers to people who do that. I think it feels like it was faithfully made. And that's why I'm kind of bumping up my score a bit. I think my concerns here are some of the pacing issues that have been raised through the episodes, what they're focused on, the fact that, I wasn't too invested in Ellie and Joel's relationship. I was more invested in, emotionally in Sam and Henry's relationship, or Bill and Frank's relationship, because they did a better job at, making those introducing them authentically. And it just seemed Ellie and Joel's journey was kind of the side projects, even though it was the main thing. And I was just sitting through it wondering why I wasn't totally invested in them. We've got a softer Joel, which I feel kind of was part of that reason as well. I think he was kind of tough guy in maybe the first episode, maybe the second episode, but then that kind of waned. and then he was telling everyone how he's like weak and sleepy. You know, in the game, he was a savage. He was damn right rude at the outset. You know, saying that Ellie was cargo doesn't mean he's treating her like cargo in the show. It was just seemed like a tagline to be like, oh, by the way, you're cargo, even though I'm going to laugh at your puns next episode. So
Your cargo, and I'm going to make a little joke about sipping my coffee.
yeah. So in the game, you really did feel that tension between the characters, and like even the angry scenes, like where Joel was telling Ellie how he wasn't her daughter. In the game, like Troy Baker really did like nail the genuine anger and kind of roughness in his voice, the savagery of Joel, and we got a softer Joel. And I think that when you soften a character or change a character's dynamic, you change their relationship dynamic. And for me personally, I feel that's why I didn't feel that invested in their relationship, because the tension wasn't there as much as the game. But yeah, I mean, but overall, I think they did a good job. I think they did a really good job. Yes, they changed Joel slightly. Yes, Ellie was slightly different, but I think Ellie did a good job overall. So yeah, I think they did very good, and it's a very good try. Definitely worth critique, because as you said, Matt, like we hold it in very high regard. So you know, we critique it because we love the games, and you know, we kind of care about it to do so. So, but I think I think it was a good first like adaptation into the show. However, there are some concerns around kind of pacing, kind of how they've structured everything. The fact that the finale was a bit rushed, you know, focusing on kind of, you know, them just kind of walking to nowhere when they could have put, you know, stuff that was important into the game. It just could. I really hope that they use this to tidy up season 2, and I think season 2 is going to make more sense because of how they've structured season 1, and that's my hope for this. So I think overall, I'm giving it like it would be a 7. I'm bumping it up to an 8 just because I'm glad that they've got more Last of Us stuff out there. I think there is plenty to critique here, and I think there are a few concerns and a few cracks showing here compared to the game. But overall, I'd say I'm happy. But again, I don't really feel compelled to watch it again. So is that saying something? I don't know.
I think, like you say, the production of it was phenomenal. Like the scenery, I mean, the stuff they even did, like they didn't green screen a lot of it either. Like they like shut down highways and downtown areas and just filled up with like broken cars, and they really made it like come to life, which was, I think it did show in the game. It did look really good, and even like you say, like you mentioned tonight about the camper van, those little details in there that you wouldn't necessarily pick up on, but it was so exact to the game. And even the production of the clickers, when we did see them, they was absolutely bang on. They were spot on. And I think that's why, for me, I'm more wound up that you don't see them ever again, because they were such a good part and they did such a good job doing it. That first interaction with the clickers in season 2 was brilliant. And then I think, is it season 5 when the bloater comes out? That was just, it was cracking. So like the production team were fantastic. It's just
they were capable. So they had the goods to lay out, but
deliver.
Yeah, but they didn't deliver in all the places. So yeah, I mean, I'm giving it like definitely giving it a positive vibe, just because I think that they're definitely pushing the bar for good game adaptations. Because like, you know, there's not many out there, I don't think, to shows.
I fear it's going to go the other way. I think everyone's now going to go, oh yeah,
we can do it.
We can do it, and it's going to just drive them back into the ground. Because I believe they're now doing a
God of War.
They're doing God of War. They're doing a Gears of War.
I've heard a Metal Gear Solid.
God.
I've also heard a Call of Duty. Who have I heard playing Tom? Who's Captain Price? Fuck, who is he?
Me.
Someone's playing.
I'm playing Ghost.
Captain. Who the fuck is it? Henry Cavill.
No, Henry Cavill's too much of a man.
Can he do a Captain Price?
Henry Cavill's reportedly in talks to play Captain Price in the Call of Duty adaptation.
Yeah, but I can't be impartial when it comes to Henry Cavill. I can't give valid critique to Henry Cavill.
So these are all things. I think they're just gonna go for it. I think they're just gonna throw loads of money, hit the scenery and the production, and I think they're just gonna I don't know.
But then again, yeah, Hollywood has realised, or I don't know, Hollywood or whoever makes films. I don't know if it's Hollywood or somewhere else, but
The
they've
picture
realised
movies.
the picture movies.
Maybe some things should just be left as games.
Well, I mean, maybe.
Sorry, can you hear that? Is someone printing money over there? Yeah, they're not going to do that.
I think like this is definitely a cash cow, and people are going to capitalize on this. But yeah, I think there's definitely going to be duds, and there's going to be good ones, and I'm all for them trying and at least coming out with a couple of good ones. And I think God of War and Gears of War. Oh my god, like they could be so good. They really could, and especially when they know what is flopping and what is not flopping. Hopefully, the quality should be driven by that. But no, but yeah,
only because, to quote Neil Druckmann, what do you have to say about the critique you're getting for part 2? I don't care.
Yeah, I've got a speech prepared for the next podcast for that exact point, honestly. But yeah, no, I think that I mean, for a show, I think it's going to focus on like I could see why they're focusing on less infected, even though I agree that they should have had more. But yeah, it doesn't mean they're going to stop making the Last of Us games though. So I am all for them making content if it gives them revenue to make more Last of Us games.
They're saying Naughty Dog's already committed to their next project. It's not necessarily going to be Last of Us 3. They don't even know if they're going to return to it.
To be fair, they have kind of walked it into the ground after part 2, but Last of Us multiplayer gives them a chance to.
I think they still will do a part 3, but I think it's a long way off. I think they've committed to another project without knowing how big this TV show is going to be, and they've obviously had commitment, so they're going to have to see this through, which I believe will probably be another Uncharted. And then
they're saying Last of Us multiplayer is going to be their biggest game yet. I mean, this is bigger than part 1, and bigger.
But we know that, but they've already committed to another project on top of the Last of Us multiplayer.
Oh yeah, so but what I'm saying is that they can focus a lot of effort into multiplayer.
Hopefully so, because
all of the TV show can go into that.
As much as I hated number 2, I'm still going to be so hyped about part 3. But
oh yeah, like same here. Like I had so many issues with part 2, but I love the world that they've created. Like and there's still a lot of good there. And I think when they make a Last of Us part 3. I know it's not going to be part 2 because part 2 has been made. So I'm like, cool, it's not that. I'll try it. But yeah, I'm, I do like the world that they've made, and keen to see where they go. I can Neil Druckmann, kind of be good moving forward. I don't know. We'll see.
I would just like to publicly apologise to everyone I contacted after seeing episode 1 and forcing them to watch the TV show, stating it's the best thing I'd ever seen. And how everyone should commit to watching this TV show. I'm sorry I wasted all of your time.
He has brought it into a professional environment as well. I'm just going to bring that up to everyone. He has brought it into a professional environment, and my job's on the line. So Facebook, if you are listening, rising creator in desperate need of support.
Yeah, I think with the show, like the show might not be for the people. I mean, the show's going to be that crossover, isn't it? It's going to be for people who played the games, and it's going to be for people who haven't played the games. They've got the freedom to deviate from the game slightly, and then people who want to like the show, they can, and then people who want to stick with the game, they can as well. But overall, it's going to expand the Last of Us base and interest, keeping more kind of money into the franchise. So.
Yeah, it's going to give them more money. It's going to give them more funding to pump into projects.
Yeah, like into like Last of Us multiplayer and like running things like that. So I mean that
when Last of Us multiplayer comes out, you're going to need a welfare. I'm going to need like a constant welfare checks on you, because if this game is shit, I'm genuinely concerned for you.
If this game is worse than Last of Us Part 2, I'm gonna live off the grid for a while, and like I might send like a pigeon in the every winter to let you know I'm all right. But I will be gone for a year or two.
Live in the woods.
I will live in the woods and I will live off the grid because my expectations are not crazy high. They're just mid-ground expectations.
I think you've got the same expectations me and Matt had going into a TV show. You're taking that into multiplayer, and that needs to be good enough for you.
Don't do this to me, Drew. Because the multiplayer is based on the gameplay more than the story. They're going to change it, aren't they? Okay, never mind. Let's not end on this note because I don't want to live in the woods. So I'm going to stay hopeful. I'm going to stay hopeful. But no, I think, you can only alienate your audience so much before they just stop buying your game. So this is your chance. Get me back. Come on. I'm still willing to buy all your stuff. Just don't take a big turn on it completely. But yeah, so I think I think overall it's a good show. Whether it meets full expectations of the game, I think not. But I think as a show attempt, I'm just trying to compare it to other game adaptations. I don't know many that have done a great job. So in terms of that, I think that's what a lot of my score's based off. But yeah.
Wonderful
Very
stuff.
well.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Shall I wrap up episode 9 of the podcast of us?
Our journey is over.
It's over, Mr. Frodo. It's over. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, they have announced Magic the Gathering cards. Thank you all for sticking around and listening to episode 9 of our podcast, the podcast of us. If you have enjoyed yourself, please do consider following, liking, and subscribing. And if you haven't, stick around. Drop a comment in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts were on episode 9 and also the entirety of season 1. Speaking of season 1, I hope you do join us next time, potentially in a couple of weeks. The best place to know about that will be on Instagram and our Discord channel as we discuss a recap of season 1 and our thoughts going into, hopefully, season 2. Thank you very much, everyone. Would anyone like to sign us off? I'm looking at you, Drew.
Yeah, Go on, Drew.
No, Nate, for you to.
I was just going to say, thanks very much for everyone who watches and listening to us rant and stuff like that. I think
it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours goes into it.
It's a lot of hours.
It's a lot to take in.
Absolutely appreciate you being here. And with critiquing and our thoughts on things and just stupid thoughts that we have. I think there's probably going to be a skill that we develop hopefully over time to just kind of get more insight for people. But yeah, really appreciate everyone. Really appreciate both of you guys for joining along with this and setting this up, Matt.
You cutie.
And for running in it. And thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate it.
I disagree with everything that Nathan says. You sound as my views.
Sorry. And fuck you, Drew. I just wanted to end out the podcast like
that. But for anyone out there who is absolutely brand new to the three of us and our podcast, I hope that the last 9 and 10, including episode 0 episodes, have kind of given you a good idea of what we're like as people. I don't know if that's the best kind of light to shine us under.
we choose to spend time in each other's company. How fucked up do you think that is?
We've been friends and family for a long time. The system works. The system works.
Getting boring now.
Drew, would you like to say anything?
Not particularly.
And that is such Drew. That's so on Drew.
Unfortunately, I'll see you all next time.
Oh no! Come on, Drew. It's not the last of us, but it's the.
Oh fuck! This may not be the last of you, but it's the last of us.
Well done, Drew. Thank you very much for watching and listening, guys. Bye.